All right. Welcome to the first installment of Millelacsvotes TV. I have with me today Najike. Did I pronounce that correctly? Also known as
Yep, that's okay.
Najike, also known as Bradley Harrington, who is candidate for county commissioner in Mille Lacs County, District 5. How are you doing today, Neej?
I'm doing pretty good.
So I know you're Gichida, very involved in the community. As a leader and a mentor to many Anishinaabe on the Mille Lacs Reservation, and then you're doing also work with the state of Minnesota, and you did work with the Natural Resources Department when you're commissioner. But now you've decided to kind of take that talent and leadership and expand it into your run for county commissioner in Mille Lacs County, so that you could potentially share those leadership skills with the greater community, a non-Indian community, and Anishinaabe as well. So with that, let me ask a question. Just so why did you decide to run, or why are you running for county commissioner in Mille Lacs County? Beach.
Okay, yep. Why am I running?
Yes.
So, I was involved with chemical dependency and criminality for a good chunk of my life, and I decided to turn my life around back about 2010, April of 2010 to be exact. And I was serving a prison sentence, wanting to straighten out my life. I was constantly wondering, what am I doing? What's my purpose here? Why did the Creator choose me to be here? So when I got out, I started seeking that out within my community. I started putting myself in situations I normally wouldn't go to, and uh, just figuring out where I can fit in. Where do I fit in there? What's my role? So at first, it started with helping set up chairs, put tables up, clean up at the end. But, in between the setup and the cleanup, you're talking to people, you're getting new insight. And I remember the first time I was asked to speak, it was to a group of fourth, fifth, and sixth graders, and it was about smoking. The speaker didn't show up that night, but I went to the community meeting and the speaker didn't show up. And they asked me to speak. So I shared my story with Asema and how I used it to better connect with the money doog, with the spirits, as opposed to using it to fix whatever chemical seeking that my body was seeking out. And then that led to further stepping out. I wasn't always willing to speak to people. I was, a stay at the back room kind of guy. Things are going to happen. There's nothing I could do about it. Who am I anyway? My voice didn't count, all this, all this stuff that I told myself. But talking to people, they encouraged me to apply for leadership development programming. So one of the first ones that I got into was a Blandon Reservation Community Leadership Program. I was like, yeah, well, whatever, good opportunity. I'm bettering myself, how I can better serve the community. And through there, we spent a whole week. Who am I? What's my character? How can I best use my character for a group, for a larger group, a community? And then when I left there, I noticed that my trajectory, my involvement, the level of my involvement, the efficiency and effectiveness of my involvement started getting better. I was able to relate my thoughts, what was going on in here, and express it in a way where I was able to contribute to the group. And so I graduated from there, and then Catholic Charities was doing work in northern Mille Lacs County. They're trying to work on bringing the county together, this community here. And I took part in that. I went to a few meetings. I think they met like 5 to 7 times. I can't remember exactly. It was a few years back. But it was there where I started getting perspective, and I'll start to meet more non-Indian people that are in this community. And then so Catholic Charities came in. They're doing a lot of good work. And I started meeting more non-native people from my community, and hearing some of their ideas, seeing how we were able to connect. We did a lot of really, good framework on better understanding who we are as community members and what can we bring to the table as community members together, as opposed to constantly trying to pull one back, trying to hold the other one down. That all this constantly holding each other back is not progressing or pushing anybody through any advancement. So I really like that. That's where I met a lot of good people, and met a lot of really good people in the community. So then a couple years later, I was talking about what if I were to run for county commissioner? I was getting a lot of, I've been hearing about county commission my whole life, the county board this, county board that. They didn't really seem too favorable. But the more I thought about it, I started thinking about, what if I were to run? Did I build up my social capital enough? Can I represent a group of people who are of mixed heritage, mixed social hierarchy, whatever the case may be, right? And I talked myself out of it. And, it was a lot of self-talk. It was a lot of my own, putting my own self down, which ultimately led to me not even pursuing it. It was just a talk. And the incumbent went unopposed, if I remember correctly. But anyway, shortly after that, the county board rejected the joint powers agreement with the Mille Lacs band. And I was heavily involved with the community at the time, and culture, language, the recovery movement. And I was getting involved with them, helping out the old men with funerals at the time. And during that time, we buried a lot of people to OD. And I live right in the community. I live about 2 miles north of the casino, up on Bug Hill. And so I was seeing all this happen in my community. It seemed like anybody could just come here, set up shop, sell their drugs, and nothing was going to happen to them. And some of the people, some of the guys that I considered my brothers, I ended up having to help with their funeral because they OD'd. And now it brings me to this county commissioner thing was coming up again. I was kicking myself in the butt for not running the first time. So I was like, well, I'm going to do it this time. I believe I can speak for more than just Indian people, because I'm a community member and I'm American also. Grew up in this community, and I don't view it as one side has to win. One side doesn't have to win. Actually, if one side wins, we won't be performing at max capacity as if we both win. And I think we can only both win by coming together and working together. So that's why I'm here. I want to be that single vote no against any division tactics that the county may have. I want to be that single vote yes for coming together and being a strong community that I know we can. I met a lot of people here, and I honestly believe that we can be a strong community if we're together.
All right. Well, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing your story and your vision. What do you view as the most important issue or the most important set of issues that are facing the Mille Lacs County Board and or the residents?
You know, this is where the authority of the county board, you know, they oversee the happenings in the area, roads, ditches, zoning. But now this is starting to get into community health, mental health, chemical dependency, probation, jails, enforcement. And I think using all those, because it's really tough to put, because it's a mix between chemical dependency, public health, but then it's also education. The building up of our community members to really believe in themselves in order to contribute to the community. So some of my vision, some of my thoughts is more along the lines of the leader of the community, the representative of this area kind of sets the tone, sets the environment. If the leader is going to be sending division down from the top, slicing this community in half to where it's us against them, that's exactly what we're going to get here. But if the leadership of the community, which drives the environment of the smaller communities, advocates and pushes for more unity, more working together, collaboration, I think that we can help solve each other's problems, because one portion of the community's issues is all of our issues. The drug issue around here is all of our issue. There may be a small percentage of residents that have never used drugs and don't know anybody that used drugs, but that's a very small percentage. But 100% of us are affected by drugs and crime in the community. And how that plays with the us versus them is that's not even looked at, because we're looking at what's the tribe doing, how are they looking to, you know, putting all this false information out there on how the tribe is going to take away your house or kick you off the land or whatever. It's coming from a bunch of divisional tactics that are set up in order to keep this pot boiling, right? To keep us from coming together and actually being a strong community. You know, I believe that we can together solve our own issues that we have here if we quit picking at what our differences are, because it's actually our differences is what's going to be our strengths.
So, I mean, you shared a little bit about your story and the involvement that you have within the band community. But you know, there would be other voters in the county in District 5 that would consider you and your candidacy. What would you like those residents to know about you and your leadership style?
My leadership style is bringing others to the table also, because I know that I can't do it by myself. Not one person can do this. It's a really strong community, and the community efforts that I have been involved with help give me that experience to understand that I don't have to go do everything all the way through. I don't have to set up the chairs, hold the meeting, and put the chairs away. there's other people that are willing to help. And, if we do it all together, one, the job will get done efficiently. I won't have to wonder why no one else is helping because there's less opportunity. What I've noticed in the community also is the opportunity for community leaders to step out. It was really hard. Just there's only a few spots available, and it's almost if you get it, you get it. If not, you're out. But there's a lot of the people that I met, they are community leaders, but needing an opportunity to take that next step to put himself out there in the community. And my leadership style is not me, taking this and running this and ramming my own personal agenda down everybody here, but picking the people. What can we all bring to the table to help ensure that our community is safe, our community is well, and most of all, how our community can be the thriving attraction that it once was. People used to come here just because. I remember main streets. I used to walk down main streets of Isle and Onamia, and there's lots of nice little cool shops there and restaurants. There's been Cedarwood, there's Gateway, Muggs is a really good place to eat. All these places here, and we all offer different services to the community, whether it be resort or fishing expeditions, or even there's some arts that I've seen come up, health and fitness. How can we do all that together and bring all of our strengths to the table in order? And so that's what my leadership style is help provide opportunity for other people that want to contribute.
So how do you plan to bridge the divide between the Anishinaabe and the non-Indian residents in the area?
So the default answer would be to bring everybody together, get them under one roof, right? That's a typical answer that I've normally heard. That's like the common suggestion to me, getting everybody in the room, getting everybody under the table. But I don't think it's really as simple as that. I think there will come a time where we're all gonna come together, because the one of the main points of coming together is being open. I think there's still a bunch of shut there on both sides, and I think through time and education, so some things that I've been a part of where I was like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna get people under one roof, sitting at the table, and it didn't quite work out that way. So the one thing that I learned is being the spear tip. I don't have to open up the whole wound all the way to get to the roots of these issues. I have to be the spear tip. And how I envision that is I get in there, constantly educate, constantly bring perspective. Eventually that perspective is changed, and this may take more than one term. This may take longer than I can take it. But then once we're all feeling well, feeling ready, and then the table's there, the table's waiting, the table has been there. The roof has been there. We just need to get underneath there, open, willing to sit together and get through some of these differences, knowing that a lot of the differences may be weaknesses, but most of the differences are probably strengths and what we can bring to our area.
District 5, that includes most of the Anishinaabe who are in the Mille Lacs area. So with that, kind of a no-brainer question, but Could you expand on how important the native vote is, not only for your race, but for other races in the state and, at the federal level here in 2020?
How important the native vote is. Um, back back when I wasn't so connected, I wasn't connected to the community. I wasn't connected to our language. I wasn't even connected to my own destiny, right? Uh, coming around, and I remember the first time I voted. It was just a couple of years ago. I got off of parole in 2017. Got off parole in August. And so my first time voting was 2018, where, there's a couple things on the table, but I remember everything going through my head. American politics doesn't concern me. That concerns white people. My voice, my vote doesn't matter. It's only one. And they have things set up anyway to where my voice really is insignificant. I went to a couple, get out to vote functions, trying to find a new perspective. And then I seen that Anishinaabe people, Indigenous people, Native Americans to the United States, we were given the right to vote in 1924. We were given that right to vote because the amount of our people that served in World War I. And I heard that, dug into it some more, and our people were warriors, and I believe it was a Mille Lacs band member named Sean Farlander, who was a veteran. And this really sticks to me, because he said when he was asked why he would go and serve the American Army after what the United States has done to our people, he said, if protecting, no, I may not get the quote right, and I really, kicking myself in the butt about this, but it shifted my perspective. If protecting white people protects my people, I'm going to serve. If that perspective was what they held in World War I, and then in all the other wars, that they were looking to protect this country and protect my right to vote, I would be doing them a great disservice by not voting. But then the question comes down to, who do you vote for, right? And that's a whole other mess. Do you go DFL? Do you go Republican? Do you jump independent? And it's really not that simple. And looking back at our leaders, I've done some research, given that I really don't like to read too much, but when there's something that really intrigues me, boom, I'm in it. Our leaders always made tough decisions. And our leaders, they would normally be portrayed as a single leader. But through reading, there was a lot more leaders than just that one chief that everybody focuses in on. There were the warrior leaders, the medicine leaders, harvest leaders, the women leaders, the clans, our Dame, and they kind of led together and made the tough decisions. So when it comes to voting in American election, I view it this way. We're usually, as Anishinaabe people, as Indigenous people, we're most likely not going to get ideal choices, but time is coming. Making the tough choices now is going to set up future generations to make easier choices. I would love to support the Mighty Ducks kid with the grand technology vision, right? I would love to support Joe Jorgensen. Did I pronounce your name right? They got great vision. they got, they're here, they're real. They don't, but the truth is supporting them, it's almost like an individual. It'll make me feel good if I voted for the Mighty Ducks kid. It really would. But my duty to the community, if I don't get somebody in there that has a true shot, that's like me sitting around with my 7 kids asking what's for dinner. They say cinnamon toast crunch, and I say, well, my vote's Brussels sprouts. Cinnamon toast crunch is going to win. Brussels sprouts is only going to get my 1 vote, my 1% of vote, right?
Yeah.
That's the way I say it. It's tough. It's tough. But the getting out to vote, it's big. Choosing our leaders that are making decisions over us. If we just sit back and watch, we're going to be on the menu every time. There's a really good quote: "If you're not at the table, you're on the menu." And we've been getting eaten up for far too long. Let's get up to that table, make some realistic choices, no matter how hard, but knowing that they're better for our community and for the future of our community. I think that's why voting is extremely important.
I'm going to give you one opportunity here to ask for that vote for in the upcoming election. And there are many ways to vote. Right now you can vote early. You can go to the county seat and submit your absentee ballot. I'm not sure if you've done that already, Bradley. I did that a couple weeks ago. Early voting in Minnesota's started already. You can do that any day now, leading up to the election on November 2nd. But then, of course, it's important. That'll be your last opportunity to cast your vote. And if you're living in Mille Lacs County, I'd like you to vote for Maniji because I think he's an exceptional leader, Ogeechee Da, and always puts community first. But I think it's important for you to ask for that vote, Neej. So I'm going to give you the opportunity on Zoom here to do that.
All right, so Anin, Nejake Wasing, Indigenous Cause, McGizzy and Dudame, me Oma, Mrs. Agaigan and Dunjaba. My name is Bradley Harrington, and I'm running for Mille Lacs County Commissioner of District 5. I am asking for your vote today because I think it is time that our 2 communities who have problems speaking with each other, no matter how close we are, our two communities need to come together one way or another. Whether that's right now, whether that's in the future, we need to start laying those foundational blocks down for a thriving community, a healthy community, and the community that we would prefer to have as opposed to what's been going on for the last decades, century, whatever your timeline is. The way I see it is tourism is one of our driving forces of our community. A lot of our residents depend on the jobs of that area. Our local business owners are, it's extremely crucial to their livelihood, to their way of life, to their supporting community. If we continue the division, the infighting, I say it's like going to Thanksgiving family dinner when your 2 uncles can never get along. They're constantly fighting. Seeing that the turkey tastes bad, the potatoes taste bad, even the cranberry jelly tastes bad. Sometimes it erupts in a fight. Sometimes that fight lasts a couple years. The family is split. I envision a community that stops the infighting. We are one community here. That if we stop the infighting, we start supporting one another, supporting our similarities and also our differences, I believe we can go further than any one of us have ever imagined. So I ask for your vote. Bradley Harrington, Mille Lacs County Commissioner of District 5. Miigwech.
All right, Well, Miigwech, thank you for taking your time, and thank you all for tuning in to the first episode of Millelacsvotes TV. We'll be back with more episodes leading up to the election. Gigawabamin.